Have you ever heard of the National Citizens Party of India? Don't worry if you haven't. Most political observers outside a few pockets of Bengal and Tripura have not heard of it either. Yet today, this little-known party has suddenly become one of the largest blocs in the Lok Sabha. And the reason is not because it won a massive election. It is because 20 elected members of parliament from West Bengal have decided to park themselves there. Welcome to the latest episode of the Great Indian Political Show. Here's the extraordinary story from Bengal.
20 MPs who were elected by voters on the TMC symbol have informed Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla that they have merged with the Nationalist Citizens Party of India or NCPI and want to function as a separate bloc in parliament. They have also indicated support to the BJP-led NDA. Think about that for a moment. Millions of voters in Bengal cast their votes for the TMC. They voted for a particular party, a particular symbol, a particular political position. Now those elected representatives are seeking political shelter in a party that many of those voters may never even have heard of. This is where Indian politics often becomes fascinating and troubling at the same time. Political leaders routinely tell voters that ideology matters. They say elections are battles of principles. They claim democracy is about representing the will of the people. But once the election is over, the mathematics of power often takes over. Parties split, leaders switch sides, new alliances emerge, and voters are left wondering whether they voted for an ideology, a party, a leader, or simply a temporary political arrangement. The rebel MPs appear to have chosen an unusual route. Instead of directly joining the BJP or immediately claiming the TMC name and symbol, they have merged into NCPI, a relatively obscure regional party. This move is widely being viewed as an attempt to navigate the anti-defection law while simultaneously aligning themselves with the NDA. Naturally, the TMC is challenging the move. Abhishek Banerjee has written to the speaker arguing that the TMC remains one indivisible political party and that dissident MPs cannot simply create a separate identity while continuing to enjoy the benefits of being elected on the party's symbol. Legal experts are also divided on whether the merger satisfies the requirements of the anti-defection law. Some constitutional experts argue that MPs alone cannot merge themselves into another party unless the original political party itself merges. Others believe the matter will ultimately be decided through parliamentary and judicial processes. But beyond the legal questions lies a larger democratic question. What exactly did the voter vote for? Did the voter elect an individual? Did the voter elect a party? Or did the voter elect an ideology? Because if elected representatives can move from one political platform to another through technical and legal mechanisms, then the relationship between the voter and the mandate becomes increasingly blurred. Of course, this is not a phenomenon unique to Bengal. India has witnessed similar political dramas in Maharashtra, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, and several other states over the past decade. Political defections have become so common that they barely shock the public anymore. What makes this case remarkable is the vehicle chosen for the transition. Instead of moving directly into the ruling alliance, the MPs have effectively entered through a side door. A little-known political party has suddenly become a major parliamentary force overnight, not because of public support, but because of political arithmetic. And perhaps that tells us something important about modern politics. Increasingly, elections are becoming only the first chapter. The real political story often begins after the votes are counted. Negotiations begin, alignments shift, loyalties change, and entirely new political realities emerge. The question is not whether these MPs are legally right or wrong. Courts and constitutional authorities will decide that. The real question is whether this is what voters had in mind when they pressed the button on election day. Because if elected representatives can end up in political homes that voters never consciously chose, then democracy may remain intact in form, but its spirit begins to raise uncomfortable questions. And perhaps the biggest question of all is this: when voters cast a vote for a party, should that mandate belong to the elected representative, or should it belong to the voters who entrusted it to them in the first place?